I wanted to ask you about a very common theme in in the Western world, and I'm thinking also here in the Eastern world about depression.
Oh, depression, okay.
What what hope can you give us about sorting out depression in our lives?
We may have to go case by case, and usually depression sets in when you've been trying to capture something in life, trying to achieve something in life. You wanted your marriage to work very well, or you wanted professional recognition. And instead of professional recognition, you probably were not recognized in the profession. And that hurt you very badly. And your sense of self was invested in the profession almost wholly. That was the whole of your life. So then it's too big a blow for you to deal with, because your whole self was invested in it, and you were dreaming that you're going to come out in flying colors, and then nothing of that kind. And quite the opposite. This is actually a case study involving one of the people who consulted me in Jyotish many years ago. And he was extremely competent, very competent. And he thought that year he was supposed to retire, and he thought he's going to be promoted because, but he was of an angry temperament, and he was extremely critical and punishing of his subordinates. And so they all ganged up against him in a conspiratorial move, and took the matter to his superior. And therefore, completely contrary to his expectation, he thought it was a foregone conclusion that he's going to be promoted. But because of the conspiracy in the office, he lost that opportunity. And there was dishonor and disgrace, and he had to retire without that honor. And so he invested too much in it. So it was a huge shock. And it was such a big shock that he did not even come to see me again, because he lost his face. And so then what do? Then you get into depression when you get such a big blow. And now there is an etiology to it. There is a understanding of the root malaise, how the whole thing happened. And you have to take time. But nobody seems to be interested in understanding themselves. And the word understanding yourself, underline that word, understanding yourself, it does not seem to be in man's dictionary. It may be in the dictionary of in the Western world, where a lot of people have gone to therapists. They could have gone to a Freudian psychoanalyst, or they've gone to a Jungian psychotherapist and discussed maybe 10 hours, 20 hours, 30 hours, trying to understand the enigmatic nature of your personality. And that might have happened to a few people who thought that that is a line of resuscitation, coming back to life. And but otherwise, understanding yourself is a very, very rare thing in the world, because you take solace in God, you take solace in your family, you take solace in some belief, and you read the Bhagavad Gita every day, and you never really address the problem of understanding yourself and eradicate sorrow from your life. People consider, it never occurred to them, it was not recommended to them that you can go so far, that you can eradicate sorrow from your life. So they live with that thing, and that's called depression. They live in the beaten down condition, when the self is humiliated, and the self is constantly brooding in a sea of negativity. It is hovering and brooding in a sea of negativity. And do you think it's creative when it is depressed?
No.
No, obviously. Do you think it's in freedom when it is depressed?
No.
No, obviously not. So it's just wallowing in a sea of negativity. But it can be liberated, And who do you think has the key? Does the psychotherapist has the key and the psychoanalyst has the key? God has the key? Your guru has the key? Who has the key?
Only you.
That's it. That's it. That's it. So somehow you've got to communicate to people who are depressed that the key is with them. You've got to somehow communicate. And I think this seems to be a difficult thing to communicate because they've already assumed that the key is not with them.
Yes.
They've
given
assumed.
their power away.
They've given their power away. So you've got to break down that wrong understanding. This is an example of wrong thinking. This is an example of wrong thinking. You've got to break it down and engage with that person and convince that person that the key is with them, and then slowly bring them into a conversation and slowly make them recognize what they were not willing to recognize till now, and then they can come out of the well of depression. They can.
Thank you for giving us that hope, Guruji.
No, it's a real. I mean it. I mean it. But not by magic, but by involvement.
Thank you.
Thank you.